Hey there, Space Cadets. Welcome back to Rabbit's Refuse, a channel where we look at oddities, cultural cast-offs, but mostly unusual children's media. Today, we'll be looking at an unusual film that I fully expected to loathe, but I ended up really enjoying it. Today, we'll be looking at Gooby. Just Gooby. That's the whole title. You've got Rabbit.
Rabbit, it's your mom.
Oh, hey Mom, what's up?
Are you busy right now?
Well, I'm a little busy. I mean, I've been filming my show, and then I have to do my voiceovers, and then I have a couple of other little things to do before I edit. So could you just call me back and...
What are you filming?
My show. You know, the one on the internet that I try to do every month, and then life gets in the way, and I never get it done.
No one watches? Cool. I left you a little present behind your desk.
That's a little harsh, but thank you, I guess. Is that why the glass on my door was broken?
Yeah, I mean, the door was locked, so I just kind of let myself
You broke in, and you busted my door, and you don't even have a key.
Doesn't count if it's your mother.
Yes, it does, and... Yes, it does.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Think that all you want, but never do this again. Breaking my stuff is getting really expensive. I can just get you a key.
That doesn't matter. I left you a present. You should find him somewhere behind your desk. In front of that creepy puppet that you named after Benedict Cumberbatch for some reason.
Oh God, please tell me you didn't let a feral cat in my studio again.
No, you moron. I was going through a box of your old crap and thought you might want your old pal, Mr. Jellybean. You used to take him wherever you went when you were little. Remember how much he helped you when you were sad?
Yeah. Here he is. And I'm not sad, Mom. I'm just busy.
Maybe he can help you make your little show.
Mom, I'm not a little kid anymore.
You'll always be my little kid. Remember when you were 8 and you crapped your pants at the fair because you were so excited about
this is getting really embarrassing.
Dad?
Please stop.
Or when you were on that one ride called Tubs of Fun and you looked so disgusted?
That was right after I saw a little girl get her foot ripped apart by a faulty carousel. Thanks for bringing back the trauma.
You are welcome.
Can I call you back later?
You never call me anymore, and make sure you take good care of Mr. Jellybean. He's a very special toy.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, Mom. Love you.
Love you too.
Mr. Jellybean. God, I've had this little dude since I was like 4-5 years old. My parents gave him to me in my Easter basket, and he had a water balloon inside of him instead of having stuffing or beans or something like that. Plus, there were 4 identical jelly bean plushies in my Easter basket that year. They were all different colors. I don't know why, but I chose him over all of the other ones in that basket. The green one was just my favorite. I gave him the title of Mr., and then I took him on every trip that I ever went on, and I slept with him in my arms pretty much every night. Man, I haven't thought about him in years. I remember this one time that the neighbor girl that I used to play with, she wanted my plush jelly beans so much, and she just started crying and freaking out. And my mom made me pick one of them to give to her, just to keep her calm and keep her quiet. And I was so afraid that she was just going to come and steal Mr. Jellybean himself. So I opened up the back of the sofa, it had this big floppy cushion, and I shoved him in there, and I closed it up because I knew she'd never find him in there. And then I spent the rest of the day playing, and then I forgot all about where I hid him. After him being gone for over a month, my mom replaced him. But the replacement had these Beanie Baby style beans inside, and it wasn't a water balloon. I mean, it was a jelly bean, it just wasn't my jelly bean. She found him shortly after that. She was cleaning under the chair cushions and the couch cushions, and then she popped one of them up and saw his plump little body, now flattened. And he must have popped when he was back there. Someone probably leaned back hard and popped all the water right out of him. I was so upset when I saw him like that. But then my mom tried to cheer me up because she told me that he would fit better in suitcases and I'd be able to take him anywhere now. And sometimes we just called him Flat Bean. Oddly enough, shortly after, all of the latex balloon-filled jelly beans lost their plumpness because the balloon leaked, and it became this uncanny, hardened latex mass. It sort of felt like some sort of dried-up, dehydrated organ, like a stomach or a heart. They kind of freaked me out a little bit after that, and, well, his replacement gave me this kind of bittersweet feeling. So I just never played with them that much. Just him. Mr. Jellybean was my sleepy-eyed little flat pal. He was a constant companion. I even had this little nervous habit of chewing on his thumb, and it made a crease in the fabric, and, well, it's still there. Well, I appreciate that she wanted me to have him back, but I don't understand why she thinks it's gonna help me with my show. I'll put him aside for now. We'll be right back.
Sure was a busy one yesterday. Here we go again.
Reaction time is critical. Quick reflexes are essential. During the Jeep and Eagle Red Hot and Ready to Roll sale, you gotta move fast for cash back and Olympic discounts on Jeep Cherokee. Save on Eagle Summit Wagon with air at no extra charge. Or try Eagle Talon for this low price. Hurry in today. When the smoke clears, there'll be nothing left. Get the advantage at your local Jeep and Eagle dealer.
And now, our feature presentation.
Gooby is a PG-rated film from 2009. It was directed and written by Wilson Coneybeare and stars Matthew Knight, Robbie Coltrane, and Eugene Levy. It had a budget of $6.5 million and managed to rake in a whopping $3,234 at the box office. Yikes. I would be willing to guess that Entertainment One and Coneybeare Stories were kind of banking on DVD distribution and then later on like streaming revenue to recoup those losses. However, my copy was in a pack of 8 films on DVD, most of which I've never heard of, and some of which sound, well, interesting for our show's purposes. Well, let's do this thing. Willie is your average 10-year-old kid. He plays soccer, loves his family, and hallucinates two-headed aliens that he believes he has to fight to continue to survive. Okay, so there may be some mental illness involved in the story, but he's been seeing a doctor for it, so not to worry. I actually did a little research on this topic, and it's surprisingly common for kids aged 9 to 11, which Willie of course falls right in the middle of, to experience some kind of hallucination. Sources say that approximately 66% of children in this age group have hallucinations or some other type of similar symptom. Oftentimes, it's totally normal and it's just a part of the brain's development. But it can be a sign of serious problems under certain circumstances. If you suspect that your child may be experiencing these symptoms due to trauma or a family history of severe mental illness, please talk to a doctor and seek help for them as soon as you possibly can. Make sure that you're paying a lot of attention to your child at that age. Do not be an absent parent like Willie's parents in the film Gooby, which we're still discussing, I swear. Willie's mom, who IMDb tells me is named Elise, but I don't remember because I never heard anyone say it, not even once, is caught up in her job, as is Willie's dad, Jack, whose name I only remember because it's the same as my cat. Jack? Jack. Jack. Jack? Jack, why are you like this? Jack. Jack. They've purchased their dream house and excitedly tell Willie about how they plan to move before he starts school in the fall. Willie is devastated that he's moving away from everything he knows and loves, but most of all, he talks about how hard it's going to be to make new friends. Oh boy, if it is hard for him now, I am worried about what his adult years are going to look like. Making friends after college is a virtual impossibility. I only have a handful of very close friends, and I rarely see any of them. Either our work schedules conflict so much that we never see each other, or we live so far away that it's a hassle to get to each other, or general life stuff gets so in the way and then we hyper-focus on it and then we lose touch for these really long periods of time. I mean, you can make friends at work, but 9 times out of 10, well, when that person leaves or you leave, you're never gonna see or hear from them ever again. And then going to bars is another way to meet other humans, but, well, it's not for everyone, nor is it a guaranteed good idea every time. Parties are okay, but then they're super weird too. Everyone feels like they're being their party self and not their normal self. It's just not comfortable. And maybe you're an introvert like me. You would rather go play in traffic than be in a medium to large size social group setting. What? There are gonna be other humans there, and I have to interact with them, and I have to make small talk, and I have to remember a stranger's name? I can hardly remember my own name when I'm anxious, let alone someone who just introduced themselves to me as my best friend's uncle's stepdad's former roommate's kid, and managed to not only use their own name, but all 4 other people's names too. Like, I didn't know there was gonna be a test! What I'm trying to say is making friends never gets any easier. I can't remember anyone's name, and I also don't get out much.
Now get on with it.
Willie's mom suggests to him that his old stuffed bear Gooby could help him settle in at the new house and even make new friends. Willie, frustrated and feeling unheard by his parents, throws Gooby in a corner and leaves him behind at the old house when they move out. The new house is huge, and the neighbors are paranoid as all hell. They flip a lid every time they see or hear Willie in the backyard, and they act like he's doing something criminal or suspicious for playing or, well, even for just existing. Alright. So we all have our imperfections and our issues. I mean, I'm a neurotic disaster, but I acknowledge it and I am working on myself. But to me, it seems like half of the people in this film have these exaggerated symptoms of a garden variety of mental illnesses. And it doesn't end with Willie and his 2 neighbors either. I'm starting to think that there's something in the water, or there's a town-wide gas leak or something. Maybe the government is starting some MK Ultra style mind control experiments in the area. I don't know, but the adults who watch this film are really gonna start asking a lot of questions. Anyway, Willie has a nanny now, Mrs. I forgot her name, and we quickly learn that she has a very short temper. Shorter than the fuse on this dynamite. Uh-oh. We don't have to worry about her for too long though, because I think the writers kind of just forget about her a third of the way through the story. Shortly after Willie and company move in, a storm is forming overhead. Thunder pierces the silence of the night. Lightning illuminates the halls to show fearful shadows, casting their ominous figures around the unfamiliar space that Willie finds himself forced to dwell in. Something far more than a storm is brewing on this night, however. The magical power of friendship is about to gift Willie with the chance of a lifetime, and probably a lot more fun than he can actually handle. Gooby, having been left behind at the old house, is seemingly brought to life when lightning strikes the roof.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
The next morning, Willie finds Gooby in his backyard.
1, 2, 3. And immediately starts trying to hide him and treat him pretty poorly. Is that a new running theme for this show? So Gooby and Willie search for a place for Gooby to stay at the house and not be seen. Gooby gets treated like trash until Willie shoves him in the shed, where he's set up a room for him to, sleep, I guess?
Well, where will you sit patiently in the dark while you wait for the next day to start? I mean, sleep.
Willie also hung a bunch of the drawings that he and Gooby drew together in the shed.
Aw, how sweet.
While a dejected Gooby waits for Willie to come home from school one day, he gets bored and builds a moon cart for the two of them to ride when he comes home from school. They hop onto the cart that, according to Gooby, has no brakes.
Sounds safe to me. No notes.
Needless to say, they end up flying through the air and crashing on the other side of a major road in Willie's new town. Don't worry, they're fine, but you haven't been introduced to another main character yet. Willie's teacher, Mr. Nerdlinger.
Oh boy, and you thought the paranoid neighbors were bad. Woofa-doofa.
Mr. Nerdlinger, whose name is a little too on the nose, is so fame-obsessed that he reads a very early elementary level picture book he wrote and illustrated to a bunch of middle school-aged kids. When he lays eyes on Gooby after Gooby followed Willie to school one day, he instantly becomes determined to make Gooby his new ticket to fame. So when the two go flying over the road, Mr. Nerdlinger is waiting at a traffic light. He witnesses them mid-air and vainly attempts to photograph them to prove his sighting. You know, to get famous by going viral or something like that.
Holy cow, it's just like the Bigfoot movie. Whoa, that's wild.
So Willie and Gooby have tons of fun together, and Gooby ends up getting to go out with Willie for Halloween. The bear is very confused as to why Willie is suddenly totally cool with him going out in public, but Willie explains that Halloween is the only day of the year that people fully expect to see the unexpected, and that everyone just thinks it's his dad in a really good costume, so he finally fits right in.
And if I'm being totally honest, up until this point in the film, I figured that Gooby was just a shared hallucination between Willie and Mr. Nerdlinger. And I was very wrong. Everyone can see Gooby, but you have no idea how much this confused me. But confusing me does not take that much effort. So don't get too excited, Wilson Coneybeare.
Willie and Gooby go to the cinema to watch a children's adventure film when Willie spots some of the boys from school that he desperately wants to make friends with. He and Gooby play it cool, and Willie's classmates tell him that they want to see the super epic, mega gory, ultra-violent horror film. The cool kids approach the ticket counter and are immediately denied sale due to their age. Gooby sees how sad it makes them and how desperately Willie wants to spend time with them, and he quickly intervenes. He poses as Willie's father. He manages to get them in, no questions asked, but several eyebrows raised.
My boy Willie here needs to see, and if they want to see a film full of gratuitous violence and gore, then I say, let her rip.
Paintbrush? Your dad is very cool.
The boys express to Willie how awesome his, dad is, and Willie feels like things are finally coming around for him. After their Halloween hangout, Willie's classmates want to spend a lot more time with him, and they think he's pretty cool. Suddenly, Willie doesn't want to play with Gooby anymore, and Gooby starts to feel, well, left out and upset. After things reach a fever pitch, Gooby misunderstands the way Willie discusses their relationship, and, well, Willie essentially tells him to kick rocks.
Hit the road, scram, skedaddle, bugger off, take a hike, go fly a kite, buzz off, beat it.
Anyway.
But if you want to know how things continue and what happens at the end, you're just going to have to go check it out yourself. This is a spoiler-free zone today. We'll be right back.
We're celebrating a new line of audio and video equipment with Ella Fitzgerald. Personal stereo. VCR. Camcorder. Television.
This film, as with most of the films we review on this channel, has a couple of little highlights that I'd really like to share with all of you. So, enjoy.
There was only one scene where we see Willie's hallucinated aliens, and boy is it something to behold.
Now, I only own this film in a large bundle, as I stated before, 8 films on DVD. So there may be a couple of missing or deleted scenes somewhere where we get to see more of those hallucinations, but we don't get to see those in the final product. And this single shot shook me to the core. I have seen some messed up films in my time. Taxidermia, Serbian film. Heck, when I was in high school, I was obsessed with Hostel Parts 1 and 2. But those pale in comparison to what this scene did to me. This scene sent shock and terror through my entire being. I see it when I close my eyes. I see it in my dreams. I see it when I am alone in the dark. I see it when I'm renovating the studio, and I see it in my nightmares.
Wow, they emptied the fridge of all of the family's food and proceed to fart on every single thing. Only the finest for my viewers.
There.
Ever seen this before? Bah!
Shh. Shh.
It seems absurd that we have to teach young people about Lewis Carroll as if he's such a great writer. Oh, sure, his one book, became so famous. Alice in Wonderland. I've written 3 books and done my own illustrations. Lewis Carroll didn't do his own illustrations. The man couldn't draw a stick. It's just absurd.
What happened to you, dude? You need to talk to someone. Seriously.
Stop it. Get some help.
I'm sure we all recognize Flesherton fish.
Mr. Nerdlinger's fish drawing is perfect, and I don't want to hear a single one of you say otherwise. Want to see a cool trick?
Can your uncle do this?
And the payoff?
Willie, the hot dog peed.
I gotta go.
Don't worry about Wiener Boy. He's the big bad school bully. He spent the whole movie making Willie feel like crap and messing with his head, and I will always respect someone who can make the bully piss their pants.
Business takes me from one end of the country to the other. So when I travel, I take along my Lanier Pocket Protege. It lets me make excellent use of my time, no matter where I am. I can dictate letters, memos, and even reports, so that when I get to where I'm going, I have time for the things I enjoy most. And if traffic holds me up, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it.
For more information, call 1-800-241-1706.
Can I tell you a couple little secrets? I really wanted to hate this film. From the second I looked at it, sitting on the thrift store shelf, I wanted this movie to be one of the worst things I have ever watched in my entire life. But in the end, I fell in love with this story and these characters. When I was a kid, I never experienced hallucinations, but I did have a very overactive imagination, and it used to scare the crap out of my parents. I used to pretend to direct my own episodes of Law and Order with my Barbies, and I had one G.I. Joe, and his name was Detective Stabler. Now, my mom walked into my bedroom at one point when I had 4 Barbies flying around in circles, hanging from my ceiling fan, and on several occasions would watch me bury my Barbies alive under my favorite climbing tree. So being perpetually perceived as the same child as Willie that needed a lot of therapeutic intervention, well, I identify with this movie a lot. I can't say it got much better, obviously, but I no longer reenact episodes of Law & Order with Barbies or my beloved G.I. Joe Detective Stabler. So what I'm trying to say is that this film resonated with me. I may not be a kid anymore, but damn it, I am a living, breathing person with emotions who is now hyper-conscious of the fact that I have to breathe in order to live, and it's making it really hard to do it without thinking about it. This film managed to kick me directly in the feelings a couple of separate times, especially past the point that I was willing to describe earlier. I guess that means you'll have to go and watch it then. I'm having a really hard time expressing the specifics of why I like Gooby as a film, and not just an exercise in weird kid nostalgia. I wish I had somebody to help me. Who on earth could that be?
I'm here to help you.
No way. No way.
I'm here to help. Let me in.
Something inside of me is saying, don't let him in. That's not the real Mr. Jellybean.
And just what are you supposed to be dressed as, little boy?
You don't recognize your old pal, Mr. Jellybean?
Well, you're reminding me of a very different Mr. Jellybean right now.
Who?
Never mind. I'll bite. What do you want?
Souls.
What?
Nothing. I mean, soul mates. Best friends. I want to be your best friend. Just like old times.
I don't even know you, dude.
Of course you do! You used to bring me everywhere. I've even watched you when you've slept.
Excuse me?
Oh, you know, 'cause you used to fall asleep with me in your arms.
That just hits way different as an adult. Anyway, do you want to help me with this video?
No, but what do you need?
I need someone to help me explain the technical aspects of why I like this movie so much.
What movie?
Gooby.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that one. Sorry, you'll have to find someone else to help you. Bye!
Bye. Well, I think that was the end of that. But just to be sure that he's not stalking me or something, I think I'm gonna make a couple of calls after this.
Well, that's taken care of. Well, that just happened. So, as far as the quality of the film goes, it was a ton better than I expected. The cinematography was lovely. There were a lot of darker, more emotionally charged shots later on in the film, and the framing was fantastic, especially for a family film. Matthew Knight was our child lead, and honestly, he wasn't the worst child actor I've ever seen, even here on Rabbit's Refuse. Looking at you, Zachary Ty Bryan. There was some overacting by pretty much everyone in the film, and, well, it kind of suits the tone of the film. I mean, Gooby was over the top and high on imagination. The Gooby costume itself had some really nice animatronics. They were much better than that Bigfoot atrocity, I can tell you that for certain. And they really shined during that big scare scene with the school bully. The script and the story felt pretty well thought out, and honestly, it was a lot more coherent than some of the other things we watched on this show. There were some things that got ditched mid-film, and I honestly wonder how much ended up on the cutting room floor and that we are not privy to. The biggest drop came about a third of the way through the film with Willie's nanny. She just quietly disappears, and she's no longer seen or heard from after a certain point at all. And you know what that means.
The shadow government got her.
But altogether, this film felt like a passionate, love-filled gift to all the over-imaginative kids of the world. Even old kids, like me.
I guess old kid's an alien too, huh?
How's it going?
I highly recommend that you go out of your way to watch Gooby. I mean, this is the third time that I've told you in this episode, so that must mean you need to go spend some time with it. And it's sweet, it's well made, and it can make some kids with wild imaginations feel very seen and very validated. You can stream it for free right now on the platform Freevee or on Con TV Plus, or you could possibly just search up Gooby full movie on YouTube after this video and see what pops up. We'll be right back.
Sir, unlike most people, you don't use the GTE everything pages. Why is that?
Well, it's because I have 5,000-6,000 books here that do the exact same thing. Climb aboard. They help me find everything, just like your book does. Name a topic.
Auto repair.
Yes.
Restaurant.
Yes.
Animal husbandry.
Yes. Whoa!
People who want to simplify their lives use the GTE everything pages. Those who don't, don't.
Welcome to the second installment of Tape Talk. Today I have a pretty good selection of tapes from my personal, very large collection, and I think you'll enjoy all of them. Tape 1. Heard of Esquire magazine? How about Tampax's feminine hygiene products? Yeah? Well, what if I told you that in the mid-80s the two teamed up together to make a series of weird workout tapes geared towards women? What? You don't believe me? Well, let me introduce you to God's Mistake, Esquire's Dance Away, Get Fit with the Hits of the 50s, sponsored by Tampax Tampons. I don't know about y'all, but when I see a men's interest magazine that has a long-running sexiest woman alive edition, and the articles have a slight misogynistic bent to them, I just don't trust this. I mean, not to mention funding that just screams the following scenario.
Jones, tell me more about that idea you had. Well, sir, I figured that we could expand our readership as well as get some of our wives to wear some, skimpy outfits if we made an at-home workout tape for ladies. Good gravy, Jones, that's genius! Well, are we thinking VHS or Betamax? VHS, sir. Beta only currently holds 6% of the market share, so VHS is the way to go. But I think we should team up with a sponsor. Somebody that makes us look more trustworthy to these women. We are a men's magazine, after all. This shouldn't be too hard a question to answer. What do women like? Kitchen stuff. No, seriously, what is something that women just love and can't stop shopping for all of the time? Tampons. Jones, you crazy SOB, you're getting a raise. I love this plan. There's no way that anyone in the future will ever think that this is disconcerting, nor will these tapes ever end up at a thrift store. I'm going to live forever. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. We're never gonna die.
So, as you can see, this type of tape would feature a lot of copywritten 1950s hits. It's pretty neat.
but I can't do anything beyond a tape talk segment with this tape. I mean, for obvious reasons. But I felt so weird when I found this that I just had to add it to my collection. I laughed so hard when I saw that Tampax Esquire double billing team up. And I'm proud to be able to put this on my shelves with the rest of my weird workout tapes and my mostly complete Richard Simmons tape collection. Tape 2. I've always been more of a Star Trek fan, hence the shirt. However, I've always had a really big respect for the original Star Wars trilogy. I mean, I don't really like it when people tell you you have to pick a side. I mean, in reality, you can like one, you can like both, or you can like neither. It's totally up to you. Honestly, I feel like as sci-fi fans, we should be banding together as one, a united front against the slights and injustices levied upon our collective and strive for a new society. One that has no top dog franchise and where we can discuss plot lines, deep lore, ships, fan theories together in unity and in harmony. Anyway, here's the tape. This was the first home release of Return of the Jedi. It was one before Lucas had his weird digital editions and characters that he changed, and, well, this is actually the original theatrical version. Yay! I also own the original trilogy that was digitally remastered in 1997 and released as a box set. But in reality, I would prefer to have all of the original versions of the films. So, this tape is a fantastic start to that. Tape 3. Have you ever thought about the last time that you ever did something that you used to do on a very regular basis? Whether it was when you were a kid and the last time you drank out of a sippy cup, or the last time you wore a specific article of clothing before you got rid of it. What about the last time you taped something off the air with a VHS tape? I still have mine. I was 16 years old, and I was super into the show The Office at the time. NBC had run a marathon on March 29th of 2007. My DVR that I had at the time was unreliable, and sometimes it didn't record, and sometimes it didn't record all of the episodes that you wanted, and most of the time it just corrupted all of the files to the point where you could never rewatch the DVD. I was also really bad at figuring out when to get rid of a dead format, but this time, it worked in my favor. Just this once. I plan on using some of the ads from this tape in future episodes, but for now, I'm gonna stick to a lot of my older tapes because they've got some real gems in there. But I can guarantee you, there's some odd stuff from 2007. Look, I even rewound it the last time I watched it. Tape 4. Remember when I said something in episode 9 about how I had some rare Disney tapes? No? I don't either. Let's check. More uncommon Disney tapes. I own a few. Not many. But here's one of them. I introduce you to Limited Gold Edition 2, Electric Boogaloo. Just kidding. It's cartoon classics. The Disney Dream Factory from 1933 to 1938. This particular series of tapes was released in the mid-1980s. It features shorts like Old King Cole, The Mer Babies, and Musicland. This was the second to last release in this series. I only own 2 tapes from the Limited Gold Edition 2 series as a whole. I would be proud to add more of them in the future, but for now, all I've got is the 2. It's pretty hard to find them out in the wild when you're thrifting. Tape 5. I am well aware that he is never going to see this video, but Nobuo, thank you very much for sending this tape so quickly all the way from Japan. I have been a massive fan of David Lynch and Twin Peaks specifically for many years now. I will collect his work on any format that I possibly can get my hands on, even if I can't play it. But this one, I can play. This is the Japanese release of Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. I was cruising around on eBay one night looking for something completely unrelated to this particular tape that I, frankly, also don't need. I was looking at this copy of the Japanese release of Shock Treatment. It's the unloved sequel to Rocky Horror Picture Show. It has a special place in my personal world. I looked at that one and I clicked on the seller's other items that they had listed, and this tape popped up. I made a snap decision. I had to buy it. Didn't have a choice, but we're not really going to talk about that right now. It all happened so fast you could barely see my hand moving with the Buy It Now button. I mean, I was just a blur of quick motion and password typing. Anyway, I know it takes a very long time to get something from Japan to the United States, and I figured I was expecting a very long and arduous wait, and the possibility of the tape getting lost in the post was a major thought in my head because, of course, that happens from time to time when something is traveling from such a long distance away. But it wasn't very long before I saw my fancy new boy. Despite me saying, no, don't worry about it, when Nobuo offered to expedite my shipping at a small fee, he sent it expedited anyway, and sent me some nice messages via eBay Messenger as I responded to him about my love for tapes. And, of course, we share that. He put a kind handwritten note in the package, sent it expedited very quickly. It arrived within a week. And he also sent a little packet of green tea. It was delicious, by the way. Some people roll out the red carpet for total strangers, and it gives me a little hope for our sad little dustball of a planet. The tape is in surprisingly good shape, and I'm so happy to add any foreign titles or any foreign releases that I can to my collection, especially anything Twin Peaks related. And that's the end of this edition of Tape Talk. I guess after all is said and done, I learned to not let go of my imagination. But if I start to hallucinate any two-headed aliens that try to force me to purchase any Japanese VHS tapes on eBay, I'll seek help immediately. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more disappointment in the future. Hit the bell to be warned when I post more of my awful content. Comment, like, dislike, all that jazz. Come back and listen to me ramble again sometime. See you in the next one.